Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. It is Clint Salter here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm pumped for today's conversation because I'm speaking with one of the most passionate, lovely, entertaining, funny studio owners that I have met. Her name is Mannella Hoffman. She is the CEO of More Than Dance in Minnesota. And I've had the pleasure of working with her over the last 3 years in the inner circle. And I wanted to get her on because, you know, Angela just has the most amazing story and journey. She's been growing her dance studio while staying really true to her core values of her business. And I know she has a lot to share. So we've invited her on to share a little bit about her story today and how she's grown her business in her own way. So Angela, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Clint. What a nice intro. Thank you very much. I'm blessed to be able to work with you.
So much fun. So tell us a little bit, Angela, around how you got started running a dance studio, and then tell us a little bit about what goes on inside of, you know, More Than Dance now.
Sure. So I started our studio about 8 years ago after I had been teaching for some other studios. And I really wanted to have a studio that has singing, dancing, and acting. Because as a professional performer, I knew how important all three of those things are to be a triple threat. But I also wanted to maintain our wholesome and family-friendly identity. And that's something that's really important to me. But another bracket of our studio as well is our special needs program. And I wanted to create a place where all students, regardless of ability, are able to dance and sing and act and do what they love.
Yeah, perfect. How has the business changed over the last couple of years? Because I know that it's grown. I know that your role has shifted as well. I think when we first met, you were doing a whole lot of teaching.
Yes.
I know that you've pulled back a little bit on that. So I'd love for you to just share a bit around, you know, the journey of really becoming the CEO, how that's kind of gone for you.
Sure. Well, initially, I think like a lot of people, I tried to do everything just because we didn't have many people that could do and support me in what I was starting up. So as the business has grown, I've really realized a lot with your help that I need to not be the sole teacher anymore, but be the CEO. And by stepping back my role from teaching, I'm still just as visible. And sometimes it's even more fun for the kids to have me come into class and teach every once in a while. But I'm really able to help the business grow more. I'm able to work with the different aspects of the business and oversee everything rather than being right in the thick of it and being exhausted all the time and feeling like my head was spinning.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I think one of the tricky things about transitioning from, you know, teaching most of the classes to kind of taking a step back and really managing and overseeing the business is that transition period. I mean, what was kind of your focus around finding the right teachers? And then what was your process around like slowly stepping back? Because, you know, I see studio owners who are teaching and then they're like, oh, okay, so I shouldn't be teaching. And then they just like stop teaching altogether. So how did you kind of go through that process and like keep the students engaged, get the new teachers on board? How did you kind of think about that?
Sure. Yeah. When you had initially said that I should pull back from teaching, I thought, well, what the heck am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. So by turning more to the CEO role of my business, I now, in that transition, I talk to a lot more parents. So I'm in the lobby speaking with parents, learning more about the families, being more involved with kind of the parent side of it as well. But it did take a couple of years to really kind of scale back for me. I still go in often and substitute for teachers, and I do training programs with my teachers. They're all highly qualified, but we have certain values and missions at our studio that I want to make sure that they understand and they teach with those in mind. So it's ongoing training and ongoing reassessing where the business is at, where I'm at, and what will best serve the business.
Awesome. That's great. And, one of the other things that I love is that you have really made a focus on spending more time with your family. I was lucky to meet your lovely husband, Tim, and Vinny in New York last year. But,
yes.
but how did you kind of manage that? How did you kind of make sure that you were carving out time? Because we get a lot of questions from our studio owners who also have families like, I just can't do it all. How do I do this?
Right. Well, I've really had learning about block scheduling from you and some of the other speakers has helped a lot. But I take 2 days a week just for my family. So I have Wednesdays that I take off. I don't go into the studio usually at all on Wednesday nights. And Wednesday during the day when my son is at school, my husband's at work is like my laundry day, catch up on, home cook, things like that. And then on Sundays, I take the day. I try to get ready a little bit for the week. So I do take a couple hours just to plan out the week, which has been really helpful rather than just flying into Monday morning. But I really have found that I'm so much more relaxed. The business is better when I take some time away. I'm not feeling so pulled. And everyone around me is happier too. So it just kind of keeps feeding into itself. The more that I do it, the more I see the benefit of it. But it is scary. It's very scary at first. And, my studio children are my babies as well. And I love them too. But, my family is really the most important.
Yeah, I love it. You mentioned your special needs program before, and I want to talk about that because I loved seeing, when you started the program and it's really blossomed and grown. I know it's always been very close to your heart. And every time you talk about it in the inner circle or in the association, people always want more information. So why was this important for you to offer a special needs program in your studio?
Sure. I always just feel that every person has value in this world and that we all have something that we can do, whether or not, we can move really well or sing really well. A lot of my special needs students didn't really have a chance before this to express themselves creatively. And I just always from the beginning, I wanted to incorporate all different types of learners and types of students. But it is really a rewarding experience. It's also very trying. It can get very tough a lot of times. But I think when I'm speaking with other studio owners about our special needs program, a lot of them think that they can't do it because they don't have a background in special education or things like that. And I don't really either. I just have treated my special needs students as a regular dance class. And I think that in speaking with their parents, they've really appreciated that our studio is a place where their kids can be mainstream and they're not looked at differently. I mean, we do different things in class according to what they need, but it's really just a regular dance class with some students who have some more challenges.
And how have you developed the program? How has the program shifted over the last couple of years as you've been building it up?
Sure. We started with 2 students and it was just me teaching them. And now we have 3 classes that are full and we have to turn away students right at this moment just because we don't have the capability to take in everyone. But it's really changed, especially when I started getting another teacher to teach with me. She speaks sign language, which is really nice because we have a lot of nonverbal students.
Awesome.
So that's brought another aspect into it where I really teach the dancing. She helps out with all of the students, but is also able to communicate with some of the other ones that I had a harder time reaching just because we didn't speak the same language.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful. So it's really, really grown since bringing on another teacher into the classroom with me each week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's great.
One thing that's I think is unique too is that it's been a great support system for the parents of these students. They all go out. We have our classes on Friday nights, and they all go out to a restaurant that's really close by, and they have a chance to have a community and a group together. And they tell me very often that it's the only time of the week that they get to spend time with other families who are dealing with the same things. And they feel secure knowing that their kids are taken care of. So that's really rewarding too. Because the special needs community is so small that the more that you can involve the whole family, it really makes a difference.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. It's great. And I mean, I feel like that is so in line as well with kind of your philosophy of more than dance. And, it's built in, you focus a lot on delivering, a wow experience at your studio, which helps with your retention. How do you, well, you do. And I think a lot of that is because you are so passionate about what you deliver. So it really comes from the right place. But I'd love to kind of chat about retention. What are some of the things that you're doing to really give your parents and your students, an extraordinary experience?
Sure. I just always try to come from a place of gratitude with my families. I know that they could choose any studio. We have a million of them around. Mm-hmm. So I know that it's an investment that they're making in me and in our studio, and I invest in them as well. I really try to get to know the families on a personal level and know, their brothers and sisters, and just really make them feel welcome. But each year we do different things, like we have our gratitude tree that I started a couple years ago, where each of our teachers write something that they love about each student around Thanksgiving time. And each month we try to do something similar to that, where we appreciate our customers and our clients and really focus back on them. Mm-hmm. But it really comes from a place of gratitude. And I'm so thankful that I get to do what I love every day, even as hard as it is some days. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, excellent. If for our studio owners that are listening, that are sitting there going, I wish I could grow our business. I'm feeling like I'm just like stuck in the weeds in the day to day. What advice would you give, those studio owners? Maybe what are a couple of things that you've done over the last few years that have really made a lot of impact to how you kind of operate and run the business?
Well, I think automating as much as possible is huge, so that you're not caught up in all the paperwork or all of the little details. Getting a great system in place for trials has been invaluable for us. Our onboarding system that I've learned from you, Clint, has been fantastic. But I would also say a really tangible thing that they could do right away is to sit back and plan out things. I think so often as studio owners, we just keep plugging along instead of sitting back and looking at the month or looking at the week or looking at the year and planning out different aspects of it, so that we're always doing something. And if we want to add something in, a last minute kind of thing, and it works, great. But to have everything kind of planned out so that you're not just running, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's really important too to schedule some breaks as well. I mean, these are all things I've learned through you in the inner circle, which has been fantastic. But it really is important to kind of step back. I think that's the biggest thing. Step back and look at how it all works together. And think of it from a parent's perspective. I know my son is in basketball, so when I register him for things, I really get a chance to kind of look at how that process is for parents and try to make it as easy as you can for parents.
Oh, totally. I think that's a huge one. And even, more now than ever before, you know, we talk a lot about in the inner circle, convenience is king. And how can we make everything convenient for the customer inside of the studio? So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, no, I think it's very, very important because it may be easy for us as the studio owner, but for a new parent coming in who's never done dance, maybe their whole life has been sports, it's a whole different world. And as much as we can navigate it for them, I think is really beneficial.
Yep, completely. What keeps you motivated and excited and pushing through those challenging times? Because I know we all have them as studio owners, right? No matter how great everything is, there's always that thing that happens that we're like, oh no, here we go again. I thought I got over this.
Sure.
And so what keeps you kind of pushing forward and continuing?
For me, it really is seeing my students, especially the little ones, get so excited to come in the door. And sometimes when it's just so much, I'll just come in and kind of watch them run in the door and give me a hug or give, their teacher a big hug. And sometimes I'll look through like our testimonials and just remind myself of what people are thinking and how they really do appreciate everything we do. But it is hard. It's really hard some days. And some days I have to just take the day and not go in and just spend some time with myself and remembering that, I could be working chained to a desk for 40 hours, but instead I get to do this. So I'm beyond blessed.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Angela, and as you know, I'm so proud of you. Like I said, everyone, I've been working with Angela now for 3 years, and the transformation, the growth in the business, seeing you grow as a person has just been so rewarding.
It's been such a great opportunity to work with you. So thank you, Clint. I really
so much fun. We laugh a lot. We've just been to Vegas. We've just had our 3-day retreat in Las Vegas for the inner circle, and we had a lot of fun. Learned a lot, but had a lot of fun as well. Yes. So thank you, Clint. Angela, where can our studio owners that are listening, where can they go to get more information about you and your studio and what you're up to at More Than Dance?
Sure. So our website is morethandance.com, but it's MOORE thandance.com. And if any studio owners have questions, they're welcome to email me at angela@morethandance.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Awesome. That's great. Angela, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom with our studio owner listeners. And I look forward to seeing you today or tomorrow in the inner circle.
Sounds good. Thanks, Clint. Have a great day.
Thanks, Angela. Take care.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.